Hi, this is Lori at Heirloom Farm, and today I'm going to talk about why we are Heirloom Farm. What is an heirloom? Why did we choose to go with that? And why does it matter to you? Why do you care? So the farmers have three basic choices for the types of seed that they use. One would be GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, also known as genetically engineered, or GE crops. You'll see that sometimes. And those types of crops are made by mixing things in a lab. They take DNA from a plant and they add DNA from something else, like a virus or a bacteria, an insect, some other type of animal, or even human DNA sometimes. And why would they want to do that? Because they can create seeds that naturally or unnaturally resist the insects that are trying to attack that plant, or it's resistant to a pesticide or an herbicide that they want to use on it. So they can spray that crop, the crop will survive, but the weeds or the pests will die. And the end goal for them would be to use less or fewer chemicals on their crops, and maybe that works for a while until there's a mutant kind of a weed or a pest that is no longer effective on, so then they have to up their game on the whole chemical side of things. So it could be good, could be bad. We're not going to argue the benefits or the downfalls of GMO here on this video. Some people think they're great because they can do things other than just the pest and herbicide tolerance kind of things. They can make apples that don't turn brown, or they can make rice that has extra vitamin A in it. Maybe those crops have some benefits. But in general, the kinds of things that we grow aren't available in genetically modified seeds. So we don't concern ourselves with those. We don't grow them. Another choice that we do have is to use hybrid seeds. So if you think of genetically modified seeds as like a cross between a cat and a dog, or a plant and a dog, things that can't naturally mix in nature, you can think of hybrids as a dog with a dog, but two different types of dogs, like labs with a poodle to make a labradoodle. And a breeder is choosing the specific traits. Like this family, this particular parent plant has very specific genetics. They breed it, inbreed it over and over and over until it's exactly right. And then they take this parent and breed it so that it has different traits and they're exactly right. And then they cross those two parents to make the hybrid. And that hybrid generally will have what's called hybrid vigor, which has better yield. It has the good traits of both parents, but you can't take that cross, take seed from it, and expect it to produce the exact same thing again. It might produce something that's like one of the parents. Maybe it'll produce something that's like that cross, but you can't save seed from it and expect it to have that same vigor the next generation. Why do people buy those types of seeds? Because they produce really well. They have specific traits that they've been bred for. They get those higher yields. Maybe they get a uniform crop that can be harvested with a machine really easily, because everything becomes ripe at the same time, and the machine can handle it really well. They're all the same size, the same shape. They have tough skin or ripen at a particular time so that they can be shipped long distances and keep for a long time on the shelf or in the produce section. So they're bred for generally high profits for the farmer, and maybe that's okay, but they might not taste all that great because that wasn't their highest priority in producing that type of a seed. So that brings us to heirlooms, the third choice that a farmer would have. And those types of seed breed true. So we've got two parents of maybe two different varieties at some point crossing, and over time that cross can produce more seeds just like itself. Unlike the hybrids, so you could save seed from an heirloom plant and get the same thing time after time. They've become stable through selection and breeding. So they might have been a hybrid at one point, but over time they've become stable. Either they were hybridized accidentally or on purpose. Could have been a bee pollinated something and somebody decided, hey, that's a really good fruit, I'm going to save the seed. And over time they were able to get something that was the same. Unlike a hybrid that wouldn't right away the next generation produce the same thing. So why did people save the seeds from that particular plant? How did it become an heirloom? Because it tasted really good, or it did something that they really liked, like it was naturally resistant to pests or diseases or drought. And over time, they enjoyed the flavor and they kept it. The difference between the heirloom and the hybrid might be that the heirlooms aren't maybe as vigorous, maybe not as high yield, definitely not uniform in size and shape, or when they become ripe. So why would we want to mess with that? We go back to the flavor. And for us, it doesn't matter if they're ripe all at once, because we're picking the same crop maybe several weeks in a row, and we're doing it by hand, not by machine. So it's okay if we have things ripening over different time periods. So the other benefit that we like about heirlooms is that they don't taste like what we have and what's available in the store. If you've tried kale and you don't like it, maybe you haven't tried an heirloom variety, because what's at the store might have been something that was easily mass produced. It was a hybrid, not produced for its flavor necessarily. So we like to surprise people with what we grow, and it's one of the best rewards that we get when people say, wow, I didn't know I liked kale, or I thought I didn't like it. Or cabbage. For me, cabbage was a big deal. I thought cabbage was disgusting until I tried our heirloom varieties. Some of them are amazingly sweet. I just like to eat the cabbage raw. It's just wonderful. So part of the definition of heirloom is generally people will say it has to be something that can be traced, a seed that's traced back 50 years or more, and it has a story behind it. There's generations over time say, I got this seed from so-and-so who got it from this person, and then it came from them, and it came from this country or that country. So there's a history. We can think about what a connection to our ancestors and how did they eat, and there's something enjoyable about that, knowing the story behind your food. I think sometimes it makes it taste better just because you enjoy it more fully that way. And I think that heirlooms, we've chosen to grow them because it fits our thinking about life and the importance of the individual person and their story, and valuing the beauty in variety. They've just been a joy to grow, even though they're difficult sometimes, and you know, they can be finicky as far as when they're ripe or when they're not ripe, and the size can be a challenge. We think that all those challenges really with heirlooms don't matter, because they taste so good. They're beautiful and we really enjoy them. So I hope this video helped you understand the differences between hybrids and heirlooms and GMOs, and our reasoning behind why we choose heirlooms here at Heirloom Farm. I hope it gets you excited to try the new varieties that you might not have tried before. If you do have suggestions for varieties, maybe you've tried something and you've enjoyed it, or you've heard about a variety, let us know. Give us a comment on this video and tell us why you liked it, and the specific name of it maybe. We do have a really specific schedule for our planting and harvesting and tight space that we work with that I can talk about in another video. And sometimes certain varieties just don't work within that framework. But if we can fit it in, we love to try new things. So let us know if you have a favorite. Thanks for watching.